Yes, and thank you, ladies. Okay, we'll let the kids carry on there. I'd like to welcome you here this morning. First off, let me introduce myself. I am William Kevin Hick. I recently became an elder in Bethel Church. I was asked to preach today because Josh is on vacation this Sunday, also recovering from COVID. Just some history about me. I was raised in Ripley, Iowa, which is about 20 miles west of here on E57. I went to school at East Green Community School, married my high school sweetheart, Mary. We have 2 grown children, William Haven and his wife Lisa of Pella, and Elizabeth and her husband, Adam, of Richport. We have 3 grandsons, William Henry, Braden, and Charlie, all of Pella. I graduated from DMAC with associate's degree in diesel heavy equipment mechanics. After graduation, I farmed with my in-laws for approximately 10 years. Since then, I've worked in dealerships, big shops, and little shops. Been a road service mechanic for a company that sells and services utility trucks. I have customers in Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, Illinois, and North and South Dakota. Where I'm heading with this is, that's my family. My wonderful family. I missed that, didn't I? Now, should have threw something out. Okay, there's the crew. Where I'm heading with this, telling you about my work history, is that one of the most rewarding jobs that I've had is being a high school youth group leader in Ripley Church for 5 years. I felt honored to be their leader that could lead by example and learn about Christ and His teachings with them. There we are outside the church in Ripley after, I think, a work day before we actually went on a mission trip. Mark 13, verse 34 says, "It's like a man going away. He leaves his house and puts his servants in charge, each with their assigned task, and tells the one at the door to watch." Probably the most rewarding part was taking the youth on a mission trip to show the people that we serve about Christ and His unconditional love for everyone. No matter how rich or poor they are, He all loves them. Also working beside the youth to be Christ's hands and feet. These trips occurred between 2003 and 2007. Things that stood out at each location. In Chicago, we stayed in a church, slept on the floor in our sleeping bags, and it was locked at dark, and nobody could leave without an escort after that, until morning. St. Louis, we stayed in an old schoolhouse, now surrounded by a fence, and had to shower at the YMCA down the street. That was an adventure in itself. Mission, South Dakota, which was an Indian reservation that we worked on. The poverty of the Indians on this reservation left an impression on all of us. But yet they were happy and proud of their heritage and continued to practice tradition. Pittsburgh, PA, known to us as the Pittsburgh Project. The daily devotions and the evening worship time was very powerful to all that attended. In Boonville, Arkansas, Boonville, that's how they pronounce it. Working with the Boys and Girls Club summer program, that was a feat because they had a very nice group of kids there. Okay, this was the a big factory, a big pantry warehouse that we worked in one day in Chicago. It served 6 to 8 food pantries in the surrounding areas. This food was donated by grocery stores that they could not sell, being out of date, really bad, but just things that they could donate to the warehouse. This is a rehab for homeless people that some of the leaders and the kids were able to work out. They help them find jobs and homes after recovering from illness or surgery. This was cleanup. I think our group, I was with them, I don't know, was it 3 or 4 days? Most of the week we worked in this basement of the old Masonic building in downtown St. Louis. And I'll tell you what, we hauled a lot of stuff out there by hand. But miraculously, when we come back, the dumpster was empty. So we could just keep doing it. This is in St. Louis. When you were helping with daycare, it was obvious how they hungered for attention from someone who cared about them. And they enjoyed this day doing Mary's hair. This was usually always fun. Every year, each group was assigned a meal to fix, and then they had to clean up after yourself after the meal was over. So it was, the kids didn't really look forward to it, so they just tried to make it fun. And here they are marching around in their homemade chef's hat they made that night. We did a lot of painting, and this fence happens to be in Mission, South Dakota. We helped with a lot of child care. This picture, we were celebrating the end of the week with cake. And so the kids really enjoyed that, of course. And this is our group picture, the group that went, except for the photo bomb by the guy in the hat in the back there, that went to Pittsburgh Project that week. And then this is a house, excuse me, this is a house at Boonville, Arkansas. We got the whole house painted in the week that we were there. They're working hard. Joe's not here, but they're doing a good job holding ladders. Most of our trips included helping with daycare, which allowed their parents to work in home improvements type projects, repairing roofs, decks, installing doors, and painting, of course. We worked in several food pantries on these trips, which would help people in need. Probably one that left the biggest impression on me and some of the kids was the one that was set up to only serve those that had HIV and their families. We saw people that had just gotten their diagnosis, to the ones that had to have their food supplies taken to their car because they were so sick with the disease. In Deuteronomy 15, verse 11, it says, "There will always be poor people in the land. Therefore I command you to be open-handed toward your brothers and toward the poor and the needy in your land." There will always be someone in need. As a person of faith, we have an obligation to God to help the people in their community, in our community, who need a hand. I feel this was always the focus on the mission trips we were on. But of course, there were daily devotions and there were nightly worship and song. This was important for the kids on the mission trip because I felt it was good for them to learn and grow from Christian kids their age. I also want to share with you about our connection with the homeowners. First, these homeowners had to humble themselves to apply for help through the organization that we were there to help. They also had to open up their home to youth and adults that they didn't know. Each day, the work group usually had an opportunity to talk with the homeowner about their home, their family, and themselves. Many times, this opportunity was at lunch, when we sat down to eat and visit. There were times we even brought a sack lunch for the homeowner, giving them a meal to eat. At the end of the week, the homeowners were invited to a meal at the project's home base to help them celebrate the work that was done. The youth and homeowners enjoyed the fellowship time together. The primary reason for going on a mission trip is to share the gospel and the good news of Jesus Christ. We go as helpers of Jesus Christ. We go as the hands and feet of Jesus Christ to help bring those that don't know Christ to Christ. To help unbelievers see the face of Christ. God of all creation is rolling up his sleeves on our behalf. What a promise. We are not forgiven. We are not forgotten. Not at all. Until we matter.